welcome back. This video took quite a few turns. Initially started as like, hey, this is my trip to New York, and we'll talk about a few different things. And it ended up turning into pretty much being all about this lens. And if you don't know what it is the Sony 28-70 F2, and pretty much we bought the lens on like the second day we were there, and I couldn't stop using it. So this is about this lens. Any freaking chances?
This is the room for the week. But before I say anything else to the camera, we have to find food because we're done. So, the hunt for food.
Trying new places, even though we have this at home. This looks so good. First time in B&H. Literally zero restraint on buying something. So we bought the new 28-70 F2. I told you guys, I'm terrible at like not buying stuff, so let's unbox this sucker and let's start shooting. All right, first of all, it comes in this super nice carrying case, which I was not expecting, so that's a plus. And there it is. Look at that. For those who don't know anything about this lens, it was our staple photo lens for Canon. It's just so good and crispy, and the fact that this is like pretty much half the weight. The design, most of the weight is near the back, so it balances even better on camera. So, we got to get this on. All right, had to special order an ND filter for this. So sorry, this is at like F9. I'm very much against cranking the shutter. So we're gonna head out and go shoot with this sucker. I'm so stoked. This thing looks so good. Okay, yes, I know I just finished unboxing it, but let me give you some preface because I mainly focused in New York about photography, and I didn't really focus on any of the video about this lens, mainly because I didn't have an ND filter for it, and I'm very much like a stickler for having, proper shutter speed and stuff. So I'm shooting a wedding tomorrow, and that's going to be all about video. So you'll see that going over the video part of it in the next video. So don't worry, that's coming up after this. This video is all about photography with this lens, and I'll give you my final thoughts at the end.
need to report an issue to the police. The NYC is located.
Alright, welcome to the end of the video where I give you my final thoughts on this beautiful masterpiece of a lens that Sony decided to give us. First things first, we have to talk about design because it plays a big role with this lens coming to the Sony system. Obviously, we all know that Canon has had this style lens for a long time. It's pretty much their staple. My wife uses it for every wedding we shoot. It doesn't come off of her camera. The downsides of it is it's extremely heavy and very big and front heavy. That's where Sony made their version a masterpiece. As you can tell, as I hold it towards the middle of the lens, you can see the weight kind of shift backwards. Like, this is where Canon got it all wrong, because on their version, all the weight feels like it's near the front, which makes it annoying to hold because you just feel like you're lifting it up the whole time. And that gets very tiring after a while, especially on like an 8 to 10 hour wedding day. That's where Sony gets it right, because all the weight is just back here and it just balances so well. I haven't set this up for a video rig yet, which I will in the next video, and I'll add a V-mount battery to this and whatnot, and it'll just balance out even better. So I'm super excited for that. The other points of the build is, honestly, it feels like it's like half the size. It feels a little bit bigger than the 24-70, but honestly, if you have the 35-150, which I rave about that lens a lot, this is pretty much the same size. And honestly feels roughly about the same weight, so that's always great. Here is the 35-150 with the 28-70. You can see that the 35-150 is a little bit taller, but the 28-70 is a little bit thicker. The 28-70 is a little bit heavier feeling, but I also have the camera attached to it, so I don't know if that's a fair fight. But I will say I'm very used to carrying this thing around for majority of a wedding day. So this is just going to feel like a breeze and feel very similar. I'm happy to have the 28 on the wide end instead of just having 35. But let's get into my final thoughts about how this lens actually performs when you're using it, at least for street photography. While I don't have any of like recorder footage or anything like that to show you what it looks like inside the camera while it's working and focusing and whatnot, I can tell you that it's a monster. If you've used any of the latest G Master lenses, like the 24-70 Mark II and stuff, it's lightning fast. And once it sees a face, it will stick to it. And Sony's autofocus is obviously like really good, so I didn't really worry about that. The main part I was concerned about is that a lot of Sony lenses, in my opinion, are too sharp. Sometimes they end up giving like a bitingly sharp effect, which why most people put, in my opinion, like a Pro Mist or something along those lines on their G Master lenses, which just helps take that edge off that Sony's kind of known for. I can tell you firsthand that this does not have that. It is crazy sharp. Don't get me wrong. It is a very sharp lens at f2 all the way through, but it has a little bit of like softness to it. It's hard to describe, but if you look at my photos, I don't add any sharpening to any of these. I took that all off. I even like dehazed and like even took clarity away, give it a little bit more of a softer look, but you can still tell that there's a crazy amount of detail in a lot of these photos, all the way down to like pores still. So like the detail is there, but it's not overly sharpened like you get on a lot of the other lenses. Photo wise, I know I'm probably in the honeymoon phase of this lens, but as of right now, this is by far my favorite Sony lens that I've ever touched. And I'm excited to use it tomorrow for video, so that way I can kind of give you an all-around review of this lens. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.